let me interject right quick for a second because somebody had brought up something earlier, right? I had a question from one of the attendees yesterday, Esco, and he asked me, because we are in Alabama right now, okay? I understand. This is kind of going back to what you were talking about a second ago. When I think about, at least before now, if you weren't Mark and I wasn't Mike, we had never done mobile homes ever. Mm-hmm. What I would think about in my head when it comes down to that is poor people, lots of rebel flags in the yard, beat up cars in the yard, stray dogs, cats, beer guts, broken families, dumb people, missing teeth out of their mouths. Trump supporters, but I'm not just saying. I'm just saying. You can go on ahead and do whatever you want to do. I think, all people are great. When I was a kid, a Republican was just somebody who's slightly different from what you are, but things are kind of polarized now. But it's not like that when we get into this market. We get into this market right here and you get to see actual people. It takes a lot of that stuff away from that. But then knowing that dynamic, I also understand what people think about when they think about Alabama. They think that we're just down here running around in these rust bucket pickup trucks with rebel flags, yelling slurs and stuff at people and just spitting tobacco all over the place. True enough, that does happen, but it's not like that. I mean, it's extremely rare. But he asked me, he said, do you experience racism down here? And I say, I experience a lot more pushback from my own people than I ever experienced from white people or Hispanics or anybody like that. So sitting here on this couch with you, yes, our businesses are keeping it 100, competitors. However, the thing you said about collaboration, I think this is incredibly, incredibly important because so many times we had a situation yesterday at the flip side. We're up there trying to do something positive. We're working with each other. We're teaching. We're learning, asking great questions, and bought these mobile homes in this park. And this dude comes up there with 2 pit bulls. Never seen these dogs the whole time. Like, I don't even know how the hell you hide these dogs in the park. Never even heard them bark. Now all of a sudden they're off a leash, coming up there, and he's black like me. And you want to cause problems. And I think that's why it's so important for these collaborations. Mm-hmm. I see other people out there doing these things. You got Mobile Home Elite, you got y'all, you got me, you got several other programs out there. People should be coming together. Like, what do you think about that out there? Have you experienced any kind of pushback? And for the most part, how do you overcome those things?
The pushback that I've gotten is more come from like traditional real estate investors, mm-hmm. where they're used to getting contractors, doing everything themselves, or kind of just being like a loan shark. The only reason that I've gotten as far as I've gotten in terms of my mobile home business is by collaborating and working with other people in my market, in my area. Especially when I first started, there was only so much I knew, so much I could do, and so much I was able to do in terms of like resources to get around the city. Yeah. One of the ways I was able to collaborate was literally just location. Like, you're on one side of the city, I'm on the other side of the city. There's a house that could go in inspected. We could get it under contract for a great price. I don't have enough gas to get over there, but you're closer.
Yeah.
How about we work together? A lot of my deals started, Phoenix is huge, from one end to another, 120 miles. There's no way to make an appointment in 30 minutes from one end of the city to the other. A lot of the ways that we were able to collaborate is just by leveraging our location and using that as a resource to find a way to create value in time, because time is money, right? And obviously gas too, especially now with prices.
Yeah.
But even just finding different things like that, where one person would go and do the home inspection, another person would just go and show homes to buyers.
Yeah.
There'd be another person who would facilitate the rehab, and then there'd be other people who brought money to the deal, or maybe one or two people, or we got a bunch of our friends. If we wanted to get together 20K, it was a lot easier for us to get $2,000 from a couple of friends, and we all pull it together and we all get on this deal. And then now one of us isn't out 20 grand. Now we're all out maybe 2, but now we can go do 5, 6 more because our pockets are empty, because we split it up and divvied it up and pulled it together. and it allowed us to do more volume. Like I said, Phoenix is huge. It was hurting us more to compete against each other, trying to rush to this, the north side or the south side and try to beat each other, when if we just did it together, we could get all of them together.
Yeah.
Instead of you get one, I get one, they get one, and each month we barely make it by trying to squeeze these together, whereas we come together, we take down all 4.
Yeah.
And they're all done. Our cuts are a little bit different, but now we're getting paid off of all 4 houses instead of just one.
Yeah.
And just leveraging each other just for different skill sets and resources. Like, I don't like talking to park managers. I just not my thing. I'm not very talkative, I guess. I'm not a person who just go in a store and just spark up a conversation with a stranger, but there's people who are. They can talk. They can
I'm sitting right here, which is why collaborations work, right? You know what I'm saying? I can talk to anybody.
To anybody, right? And just things like, and then somebody, you go talk to the park manager and make best friends, where if they talk to me, they'd probably be like, oh man, that guy's different impression, right?
Yeah. And
just leveraging those skill sets, those resources, those characteristics, and leveraging our strengths. I'm not good at everything. I know I'm not.
Right.
Same for all of us, right? And
I have my weaknesses as well.
So just using our strengths instead of trying to sharpen our weaknesses, wasting time almost. Like trying to focus on something that we're not good at instead of just focusing on something that we are good at and can do really well, and then finding somebody else to wear that hat. Yeah. The hardest part about growing this into a business, from like a side hustle or a hobby, or a hustle into a legitimate business where you got employees, operations, is not wearing all the hats.
Right.
It's finding other roles for other people. That's your specialty, and everybody has a role. When you go to a McDonald's, there isn't one person in the kitchen. There's 8, and they all do one thing and one thing only, and they all have their role.
What would you say to somebody who has? Because I think that something like that is born out of trust issues. I think something like that is truly born out of trust issues. When you're doing something like this, I would like for my life and my journey through mobile home investing to have been different. I have been through some hard times.
Yeah.
And I was telling them last night, I said, the guy who actually taught me this stuff, he wound up double crossing me. And he wanted to see me brought low. The money was coming in. We had touched we touched 6 figures our first year, that's for sure. And we both had different strengths, right? I can sell salt to a slug. It's not to say that I would try, but I have that skill set.
Yeah.
And I try to use my powers for good, okay?
Right.
I use my powers for good. He could bird dog like nobody else. Mm-hmm. That boy could find mobile homes like you wouldn't believe. And we would start out at 6 o'clock in the morning. We would go through it, man. And a year later, we touched 6 figures when everybody thought that we were crazy. Everybody was laughing at us when we started to invest in mobile homes. More so me than him, because I had higher up friends, and they were like, man, this dude's crazy. He's failing in life. He's losing his mind.
What's happening, beautiful people? If you like that clip, then don't forget to click over here where you can catch the full unedited version. And don't forget to subscribe.